There was a time when the world's best tool watches were built to solve real problems. Water, magnetism, pressure, yeah, even the atmosphere of space. Today most of those watches has become luxury objects. So the question is simple, who is still building real tools for the wrist? Meet Fortis. And today we do not have one, but two Novonauts on the show. So let's get into it. Tool watches were never about status, they were about purpose. Railway workers needed precision, divers needed water resistance, and pilots needed legibility. And astronauts, well, they needed reliability, no excuses. Back then, brands competed on performance, not polish or shiny precious metals. Today, many historic names like Rolex or Omega are selling stories built on achievements made decades ago. Now don't get me wrong, I like those brands, I own them, I respect them, but they serve a different customer today. And that leaves space, yeah, pun intended, for a brand like Fortis. Fortis has been around since 1912, founded in Switzerland and still based today at their original headquarters in Grenchen. And unlike many others, they never stop focusing on one thing, building instruments for the wrist. Not fashion, not nostalgia and no hype. Solutions, thoroughly tested in their high-tech facilities. Whether for pilots, divers or astronauts, Fortis watches are designed to do a job, to solve a problem, to be a true tool for the wearer. And the Novonaut might be the clearest expression of that philosophy to date. Let's be honest, this is not a subtle watch, and this is probably also not going to be a first watch of the collection either for most. But I do like wearing a big watch from time to time. There's something satisfying about feeling the heft of a real instrument on the wrist. And the Novonaut leans into that unapologetically. It doesn't try to slim itself down and it doesn't try to charm you. It sits proud on the wrist. So Fortis was kind enough to send me two Novonauts in for this review. One in stainless steel and one in titanium with that distinctive gunmetal grey color. The titanium version is noticeably lighter thanks to its grade 2 titanium construction. And what I really like are the subtle gold accents on the dial, on the chronograph hand and on the hand of the 6 o'clock sub-register. That combination of gunmetal grey and restrained color makes these watches feel immediately very technical and also of course purposeful. This doesn't feel like a watch inspired by space. It feels like a watch that belongs there. And when I was at the Space Expo surrounded by real spacecraft, the Novonaut didn't felt out of place at all. If anything, it felt familiar, like an instrument pulled straight from a capsule or a cockpit. The dial tries to be readable, precise, functional, and yet it's full of character. You get bold numerals made out of Lumecast Superluminova X1 blocks, a mix of matte deep dark grey surfaces and 3 deeply recessed subdials with a snail pattern. Not to add luxury, but to improve legibility and visual separation. The layout is spot on. Subdials at the 12, 9 and 6, a sunken day date at the 3 o'clock and a raised minute track around the edge of the dial that adds depth and clarity. And where I sometimes miss a bit of color on my Speedmaster, the Novonaut adds just enough. Not too much, just enough. The orange or gold chronograph hand, the Fortis orange the 13 on the date wheel, the subtle orange 47 second marker on the second sub register, all little Easter eggs. You don't notice them immediately, but once you do, you keep coming back. That's good design. This is the definition of a tool watch, or tool watch redefined as Fortis puts it. And the proof? Well, true story here. During a spacewalk, an astronaut once used one of these Fortis watches as a hammer because he forgot the actual tool to secure an important pin. Now let that sink in. Try that with most modern luxury watches. This thing is tough as nails. But please don't try this at home, just use a proper hammer out of your shed. Novonaut or Speedmaster is the inevitable direct comparison. But think of it this way, an Omega Speedmaster is like a classic Porsche 911. Elegant, iconic, timeless. The Fortis Novonaut, that's more of a Porsche GT3 RS. Hyper-focused, purpose-built, no compromises. And if I needed a watch as a real tool, this would definitely be it. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this probably won't be the first watch in your collection, and honestly that might be something Fortis could improve on. Today I see Fortis as a real enthusiast brand, but also very much as a brand for real professionals. And that's a very strong position to be in. Still, it would be very interesting to see how Fortis could grow even further as a brand by introducing a more approachable base model. Back in 2014, Fortis introduced the Pilot Classic Small Seconds. Slim case, just 10mm thick, monochromatic look but with a little pinch of color, and extremely legible. That watch could have been the perfect entry point today, but unfortunately it's no longer in the collection. I genuinely hope Fortis revisits something like this in the future with a slimmer, more compact case design, and yeah, maybe even with a tapering bracelet for improved wearability for the ones with smaller wrist sizes or preferences to smaller watches. Okay, let's quickly look at the specifications, because here they matter. We have a diameter of 42mm, a thickness of 15mm, a lock-to-lock of 51 and a lock width of 21mm. It has a water resistance of 200 meters, where you can even use the pushers on the water because of the special triple FKM sealings. It has a sapphire crystal, sits flush and slightly under that grippy bezel, and the bezel here is fully lumed. The sapphire crystal has a AR coating on both sides for excellent visibility. We do have two choices of materials for the Novonaut, namely stainless steel and grade 2 titanium for the case and bracelet, and the weight factor between the two versions is substantial. Under the beautifully closed caseback we have a space tested movement that isn't about decoration but about reliability, accuracy and confidence. And this is the 4Hz Work 17 caliber from Fortis, which is a column wheel chronograph with 60 hours of power reserve, with a day date, central chrono hands and a 13-minute and 12 hours counters. And with this movement you can expect chronometer level performance, which is excellent on these Fortis watches. Okay, then the Lume. Well, let the images do the talking here. We have Superluminova X1 with Lumicast materials that is bright, long-lasting and highly legible. Yep, the Lume is as expected on this watch, bright as a star. Looking at the bracelet, we have a 3-roll block bracelet with a screw pin system that offers a clasp with a on-the-fly micro adjustment system. Oversized bolts secures the bracelet onto the case, which makes sure that it is not going anywhere. Now the price. Depending on the version you choose, the price starts at just 50 to 100 euros in Europe. So after spending real time with both of these Fortis Novonauts, What stands out for me the most is how well it's balanced on the wrist. Yes, it's a serious tool watch, but it never feels awkward or top heavy. That comes down to the proportions. The 21mm width of the bracelet works perfectly with the case design, and the clasp dimensions are spot on. Together they distribute the weight so well that the watch settles naturally even during long wear. Execution wise, there are details that really elevate the experience. The black FKM ring beneath the bezel and the crown is subtle but purposeful. The crown is deeply grippy, and the ceramic bezel itself features crisp printing with a matte finish that avoids reflections. Flip the watch over and you'll find the engraved Fortis rocket on the caseback, a restrained but very meaningful nod to the brand's space heritage. In use, the tactile feel is largely excellent. The chronograph pushers are precise and confidence inspiring, and the bezel action is snappy with zero play. That said, from a user's perspective, the bezel could benefit from slightly stiffer clicks. On several occasions I noticed that the bezel has shifted unintentionally, and by comparison the bezel on my Fortis F41 Flieger is firmer while retaining that same mechanical precision. Now the Novonaut's bezel is good, but a touch more resistance would make it feel even more secure as a true professional tool. Brands like Rolex, Omega, Hamilton, Longines, well, they built the foundation of tool watches in the past. Today they tell the story, but Fortis built the actual tool. Uncompromised, tested for the future and built like a tank. And if I needed one watch as a true instrument on my wrist, yeah, this would be it. If you want to see more Fortis content, check out my in-depth Flieger review shot at the military museum, and if there is a certain Fortis watch you would like to see featured here on the channel, then leave a comment down below so I can try and make that happen for you. Now thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.